Welcome to this edition of 5 Minutes With. This is Hailey Trealout, and today our special guest is Corporal Bruce Moncur. Would you like me to call you Corporal or?
Bruce is good.
Bruce is good? Okay. So can you tell us what happened in Afghanistan in 2006?
In 2006, I took part in Operation Medusa, where I suffered a pretty bad injury from an American A-10 Warhawk. Essentially, the bullets that hit me and my platoon are about the size of your forearm. Highly explosive, uranium-based, electrically charged. Pretty much the gun is known as a tank buster. It cuts through tanks like butter. So myself and 39 others were injured, and I was hit in the head, back, and butt, and had to undergo two brain surgeries to basically because the damage to the brain was too much. They removed 5% of the brain that was really beyond repair, and then the uranium is still lodged in my brain, about the size of a bottle cap.
All right. How long did it take you to recover from Operation Medusa?
Personally, I feel, well, when I was injured, I lost the ability to read, write, walk, talk. I needed a walker, I needed a cane after a while. It was like a progression, right? So where I felt things recovered, like those essential things that I needed, like walking, talking, those came back within 9 months. The military cleared me within 3 years, but I still have a lot of long-term effects, such as I fatigue very easily when I mentally exert myself, or my short-term memory.
How did the Veterans Affairs offices, how did they help you?
Well, myself and the Veterans Affairs offices have had some sort of a love-hate relationship over these last 7.5 years. A lot of the times I feel like I'm not being heard, or my compensation, like for instance, the 5% of my brain received a 10% awarding, or $22,000. So I felt I was grossly under compensated for, such a vital organ being injured, and the long-term effects that I suffer now. On other times though, they do really help. Like they were able to bring, under their union, they were able to bring me to Ottawa to get my voice heard, and also they do sit down. I have a case manager. Her name's Colleen, and she's like a part of my family now. So she calls me. It's when you can get through the bureaucratic red tape and you can get to the people that actually care in Veterans Affairs. That's when you really feel like you're being looked after.
When you heard of the plan to close the office, what was your reaction?
It was just like I said earlier about how the love-hate relationship. I just felt it was another barrier that they were going to put up. I honestly felt like, okay, well, I've been fighting this system for 7.5 years. What's another hurdle to overcome? But then when I realized that it's more than me. I'm a healthy 30-year-old man. It's when I see the World War II veterans that we're losing 1,000 World War II vets a month, and now more than ever is when they need the services. Right? They're reaching the twilight years, and those are the men and women that need the services to stay open and need the help now. And going from Windsor to London is not a viable option for them.
So you went to Ottawa to directly protest the closing. What happened when you went there?
When I was in Ottawa, it was like a circus almost. It was so surreal to be able to see how the government works, and sometimes how the government doesn't work, obviously. First day we had meetings, we got our statements. There was 10 of us that were going to read a statement. So we each had 1 minute in our press conference to pretty much tell the world what we thought of, why these branches need to be open, right? So it was scary, you're going in there and you don't want to look like a fool, right? You don't want to go in there and put your foot in your mouth, or have the wrong information. But it wasn't until Fantino did his incident, it would have all been forgotten if it wasn't for Fantino walking out on the vets and barging in on us like that. I think it was a political blunder on his part, and a good thing for us to be able to get our message across like we did.
Do you feel like you've been heard since that incident? Have you seen any changes at all?
Well, the changes can't happen until the Conservative government decides that they're going to do the changes. The unfortunate matter, the fact of the matter is they have a majority, and we need to look past all this political mudslinging, and we need to look past all the he said, she said, and we need to look past all this rhetoric that's being put out, and we need to focus on the task at hand, and that is getting the veterans the services they need, and in a timely manner. We have a system that is broken. We are behind our allies in our treatment of veterans, and in fact, the matter is, it's embarrassing. Not as politicians, not as unions, as human beings. We need to really focus on how poorly these veterans are being treated and how it makes you feel. Like, I know I feel kind of sick to my stomach when I think of, you know, the monstrosity that this program has become.
How did it feel being able to stand in front of everybody at the protest just last week?
It was really surreal to be able to give a speech like I did, and to have people cheer and, you know, tell me that they're behind me 110%. It really feels good to know that all the sacrifice and all the headaches and all the time that I put towards this is reaching people, and I do have support out there. So I really do appreciate all the supporters and all the veterans out there. I just want them to know that I'm gonna try as hard as I can to get things done, but like I said, I'm only one person, and there is a majority. So we definitely need maybe a change in parties, or something that happened in 2015 that will send a message to any government that forms a new parliament, that our voices will be heard.
So in an interview earlier, I don't know if it was this year or last year, you mentioned your love for the military and that you're a lifer and you don't want to leave. Has this whole scenario, has this changed your outlook on everything?
Well, I'm going to say this. When I said that, I was still under the assumption that I could recover fully to become a soldier, just go back to my life as a soldier. That has proven to be an impossibility. My injuries have made it in such a way that I can no longer be a soldier. So I have to now move on, have new dreams, and have, you know, and I hope nobody ever has to, you know, have their dreams taken from them in such a way that, you know, you have to sit down and go, okay, well, what do I want to do next, right? That's something nobody should ever have to do. But secondly, if I were to give any advice to anybody that wanted to join the military, I ask them to look at me, look at the veterans and how they're being treated, and say, you need to explore all other options before you do sign the dotted line and do join Her Majesty's forces, because they won't look after you. They won't protect you. They won't, you know, they don't have your best interests at heart. And I ask that all potential soldiers listen to that message and make their decision accordingly.
Okay. This has been 5 Minutes with Bruce Moncur. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for coming
Thanks for
today.
having me.